Hi, my name's Kerry Badham and today I'm going to show you how to make a fondant gingerbread inspired Christmas topper. For this we're going to use the FMM More Than a Birdhouse cutter. You get 4 pieces in the set. One of them has the straight edges, you have the one with the slanty sides, and you have 2 smaller rectangular shapes. But for this one we're just going to use the 3 cutters. I have pre-made part of my gingerbread house earlier because you need to allow time in between for drying. So the first thing we do is we roll out some fondant and add a little bit of Tylo into your fondant to make it into a modelling paste, or you can just buy the modelling paste. And then we use the cutter just simply by placing it on top, applying pressure with your hand and moving it around your board. And there we have one of the shapes that we will be needing. I'm just going to pop this to one side. So what we've done is we've cut out 2, one for the front and one for the back, 2 of the slightly smaller, and these will actually be the sides on your gingerbread house, and then 2 more for the roof. You cut them out and you allow them to dry for 24 hours. Then what you do is you will stick them together using royal icing. And what I've done is I've put the royal icing inside the little house. So you'll do one side at a time. I've used white. Normally you would colour it to whatever colour your house is going to be, but as we're going to put touches of snow around the house, it's okay to leave it as white. So you would put a line of icing on and you would put one of your sides on and you would leave it up against something so it holds it there for it to dry. And then once that's set off, you'll turn around and you would do the other side. So exactly like this, you would put a line of icing down, and nobody's going to see this, so don't worry. You'll pop it on the side, and then what you'll do is you'll rest that up against, you can rest it up against the upstand on your worktop, or you can put something there to support it. And you need to leave this to dry before you can move on to the next side. Once all 3 are together, we can then actually stand your house up. So I'm just going to fold that down and pop that to one side, because here we have the one that I made earlier. So we have the 3 sides. So on the front of the house, at the top of the cake, it actually has some decoration. And what we used for the decoration is the FMM straight frill set 1 to 4. And this has done the edging around the cake, around the topper. I've used the Essential Shapes circle cutter to make the circle, which is the one over on the far side. I've used the small holly leaf out of the FMM holly leaf set of 3. I've also used the Essential Shapes for the door, and then I've just hand rolled the berries and I've handmade the cane. So we're just going to decorate that now and pop that together. The first thing I'm going to cut out is my straight frilled edge, and I've started with some red modelling paste, a nice straight edge across the top, because then this way we know it's all the same depth. Fold it over, apply pressure, and just the same as before, move it around and then remove the excess. Now I'm going to leave that to one side just to give it a little bit more time to dry off, and we won't put that on until we've got the rest of the house together. Here I've got some white modelling paste rolled out, and we're going to cut out the little diamond shape that goes on the peak of the roof. And I'm just going to show you how to use the tappet. So you pop it on your modelling paste, bring it up, and you can see it in the tappet, and you flick it out, and then I'm just going to place that to one side. So here I've already cut out 2 small squares for windows, which I've used of the Essential Shapes tappet, and also the round window, which is one whole shape at the moment, but we're going to cut that, and I've used the rectangle shape on this tappet to make the door. So now I'm just going to simply stick this on with some water. Then I use my knife and I just cut my circle in half and then in half again. And I stuck this on. Okay, if you leave these to dry off a little, they're a lot easier to handle and you've got less chance of damaging them as you stick them on. But for the video, we need to move a little bit quicker. I just left a little gap in the middle. It gives you the effect that we have on our topper. And then what I did was I just popped the holly leaves on, which I cut out using the smaller of the set. And then you can just roll out 3 small berries. All the time just sticking them together with water. There. Right, so we need to stick this panel onto this one. So I have my piping bag and I'm using quite a large nozzle today and I've put quite a lot on so people can see what it is. And it doesn't matter if you use just a little bit more. And like I said, if it comes out, it doesn't matter because we're actually going to put snow on our topper anyway. Mine is actually still quite soft as well. And then we're going to place that on top. Right, normally you would just leave this to sit and dry, but because we're making a video and I'm trying to move it on a bit faster for you, I'm going to stand mine up. You could use one of the FMM impression mats as well to put a tile effect on the roof, as I've shown on top of the one we have here on the cake as well. It's entirely up to you. It just adds a little more detail. So now I'm going to put some royal ice in. It's always best to stick this with royal ice in rather than trying to do it with edible glue. And you pop it on top. Now that is still very wet, and again I would leave it for a little while, but because we're making a video we need to speed this this on. So we've cut out our frilled edge and we want to attach this to the front of our house. On both sides, so you need to measure. So I'm going to take that down to here. And then there. And you may need to play with this a little as you do it. Now here you can use water, or you could use your royal icing or edible glue. And I'm just going to try this out for size. I'm just going to turn this round so I can see. When you wet your fondant, if you give it a little while, it will become tacky, and whatever you put on it, it will stick a lot easier. So here you've got the awning over your roof, and to cover this join, all we're going to do is pop on a little diamond shape, which again was from the Essential Shapes. Again, I would wait for this to be dry so it doesn't lose its shape. And there we have the mini gingerbread house. And then what you need to do is you just go over it with some royal icing to give it a nice snowy effect. And then what I used was a little palette knife just to blend it and make it look like it had just settled. I'll just turn that round to do some on the front. Little line above the door. And then obviously you can go across the base of it when you pop it on your cake. So if you have a look at the cake here, on the front of the cake I've used the cutter with the straight edges, and what I've created are little shops. This edging is on the front, and this is also available in the same frill set that you would buy, and all these shapes are available in the Essential Tappet Shapes. We've used the alphabet and number cutters, and what I've done is I've created to make them look like little shops. The holly leaves are from the holly leaf set. We've also got a gingerbread train, and we've used the cool Christmas tappets to create a bunting effect around our cake and make little presents to sit in our train. And if we turn the cake round, we've made it look like a little village by putting the toy sign on the gingerbread house, and then coming further down making a post and a shop. We've also used the FMM Christmas tree, and we've used the Impression Map 4 to make a nice textured effect on our Christmas trees. Thank you for watching, and we do hope we've inspired you.